Now, I'm a little bit disorganized. People know that about me. So I sat here, I had everything going, and I want to introduce my first. I know her rather well, so I don't know how much I need to introduce her, but I do have a bio here that she provided. And Judy Schaffer owns JSO Commercial Interiors, and it's you can find it on the web at jsointeriors.com. And she's a creative and enthusiastic individual that loves doing what she does. She does high quality control. She's a licensed interior designer who incorporates her China trained feng shui skills into harmonious designs for residences, corporate and commercial projects. She saves her clients time, money, and stress. Emphasis is given to scale and space planning, green, sustainable products, and that's, she was green before it was cool. And then as well as furniture, art, and accessories. So she plans that. She's had national media exposure. Now, I didn't know about this until I talked to her. And she's been on Mark Cuban's HD TV's Designing America, Jocelyn White's Designing Texas, and she's been in the Dallas Business Journal. She's got a list here of all this media stuff. You really didn't tell me as much as you've been on. But and when I got to talking to her, and here we go into I was amazed at her life story because she's super talented. She has done so many things. She designed a clothing line. Well, number one, she's an artist and got her art degree, so she paints like beautifully. So that's one thing, and highly creative. But she designed her own clothing line. She painted and sold art and one-of-a-kind jewelry to the high-end stores. And if you're old enough, you'll remember Lou Lattimore and what was Marie Level. Y'all remember those? That was her client. Those were the things that she provided, and she had a staff that. And I'm going to let her chime in of high-end denim. There, you did painting on it, right?
Yeah. And I had about 16 art students. I would do the first one, and then they would copy it.
So she did that for years, and I found that fascinating. And then she went to China. She went to China and studied feng shui. And she's also always supported the green movement. So I'm real happy to have you on the show, Judy. Judy Schaffer, and I'm so impressed with, and that's what must make you an excellent design person. But I want to ask you, first off, I want you to tell us about the results you help your clients achieve.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I try to think outside the box and give my clients something that they couldn't do themselves. But what I'm most excited about is the new direction my business is going, and that is doing remote virtual design.
That is something that is so unique, and that's something you thought of.
Right. Well, I had two out-of-town clients, and one called me from Atlanta, and he said, I'm moving in 2 weeks. I don't know what to do with my furniture. How can you help me? And so I thought about it, and I said, take pictures of everything you have that you want to keep, send me a floor plan of the new location, and let me space plan for you. Well, fast forward 2 weeks, he calls me back, and he goes, how did this happen? You made me look great, and you never came to town. And I thought, this has possibilities, because in today's world, people that are working don't have time to run home to meet a designer. They don't have time to tritz through the showrooms and see everything. And this way, I can send them links with suggestions. They can approve it or disapprove it.
Hey, but didn't you bring a picture? Don't we have a picture there of, and I believe there's a plan that someone sent you.
Oh, that was the New York Peditaire, however you say it. A friend of mine that I went to school with, it was their third they got 375 square feet in Manhattan, just down the street from Lincoln Center, so they were real excited. They have a ski house and they have a home in the suburbs. So the husband's a judge, and so but she has lots of grandchildren. So my challenge was, I mean, this is the size of a hotel room. She wanted to sleep 4 and feed 6.
Was that online? I mean, was that done? That was done
Yeah,
long distance.
Yeah, right. I never set foot in the space, and she never saw anything that
Well,
I
you sent me 2
suggested.
pictures, and I'm gonna put one up. It says
Okay.
it says number 1, small apartment.
Yeah. Well, that what I did. Okay, this was how I worked the space. And I did, in order to sleep 4, I did a sofa that was unique. It flipped the long way. And then I did a Murphy bed, and I had that up on the wall. Well, when in front of the Murphy bed, I did a dining room table on wheels. And then when the Murphy bed needed to come down, the table on wheels slid into the little outlet that was for the kitchen.
But you were able to design that and do that. That's just an example, and you do it the old-fashioned way. I like that. You handwrite it and draw
Well, I have improved since then. but it got the gist across, and that is actually scaled to the correct size. So when she went to buy her sofa, she could just measure the sofa in the store that I sent the link to, and it fit perfectly.
Well, at your site, you actually talk about it on it. You say that you have virtual design. And so it says cut the cost of travel and on-site meetings. And it tells people what to do. They send you photos of the space to be designed,
Right.
the measurements, the width and depth of the room, and any existing furniture. You need to measure that.
And pictures.
And pictures. And so with the commercial clients, you offer, we're talking about some homes, but you really do a lot of commercial, and I do have some pictures of some commercial things that you did. I did the travel office and the things that you liked.
Okay.
That
was in Washington, D.C., and luckily, I worked quickly because I had 3 days to pull it together. They were working with a furniture dealer, and the president of the company was from France. It was a global company, and he couldn't grasp when they threw carpet or paint swatches in front of him. And so I did what it's called in the trade storyboards, and that shows him, here's the chair, here's the fabric color, here's the furniture, here's the finish on the furniture. And he loved it. I mean, in a half hour.
Okay, there should be an office. It says office travel on it, and I think it's I don't know the numbers, Jimmy, and so if I get messed up, it's my fault. Okay, so this is just an example I did because
Right. Okay, I didn't know you were doing that. That's fine.
Well, it just says that I wanted people to know that you do commercial planning.
Right.
And that actually is because you are, JSO commercial interiors, but you do the home thing too. So,
Right.
But I thought that would give people an example. I don't know if you could do that long distance necessarily.
Well, I did do a company in Chicago opened in Richardson,
Okay.
a food focus group, and they contacted me and they said, we're not there. They're doing building finish out. Would you please pick the carpet, the paint colors, the countertops, and coordinate everything? And I did it long distance. I mean, I sent them a packet that they approved. And
But you did a Harley garage too.
that was one of my
so
most.
It says, I have the after picture only, which is a little bit better on there, but the before and
okay.
after as far as quality. But there's one that says before after, and I think it's number 3 or 4, 3.
Well, it was just a dirty shell.
Well, yeah, that's
You can
kind of
see
hard to
that.
see. Yeah, it's hard to see.
Oh.
But bring up the next one, Jimmy, which would be the one after that.
Oh, it's a little distorted.
Yeah,
in the,
because that one will show you how it ended
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing that she doesn't do. So that's just.
Well, there was a funny story behind that. This was actually at a high-rise on Turtle Creek, and my client was very picky about his motorcycles. So he said he talked the building into selling him one of their storage units so that he could have a personal garage. And so I had a set designer come out who was slow that week and do the band of flames going around the room. And it was very cold, so he had a heater on, he had his jam box on, and he had his airbrush on. And we blew 1,000 units of all the places went dark.
Oh my God.
So I quick unplugged everything.
And they go, gosh, that damn.
Called management. Nobody knew it was us.
That's what you get with. That's what you get with. That's what you get with easy riders, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it was the funniest thing. I would pull up to drop something off in his garage, and he'd be, without air conditioning in the summer, be sitting out there. His girlfriend gave him Harley bar stools. And I said, what are you doing out here? And he goes, I just love it. I might sell my unit, but I'll never sell my garage.
Okay. Well,
So on his birthday was when they filmed it for Mark Cuban's Designing America. And he thinks I planned it, but actually it was serendipity.
And you've even done boats and people's boats,
Yes.
redesigned it and
Yeah.
things like that. We talked a little bit about that, and we talked so long the other night, and I know we can't cover it
Yeah,
all.
right.
So I want to pinpoint in one of the things that the feng shui that you do. The results that you help your clients achieve. Basically, you're fast. There's two things that I, right off the bat, just want to tell people after talking to you, is unlike, I find you unique in that you don't charge people, sell them furniture. You will repurpose what they have. You charge a per hour consult project type on different ways. So you're not pushing furniture on people. And you also have access to great deals on furniture.
Right.
And accessories and art.
Right.
And,
Well, let's cover a few
Okay.
of those real fast. The art is a passion of mine, and I collect. And in a down economy, a lot of corporations, are getting rid of their art or closing and so forth. And there is fabulous art out there at 20 cents on the dollar. Mm-hmm. And so I just buy what I can, and then I can be a hero to my clients. As far as charging people, if I work, I get paid. But I'm fast, and I have great resources, and I know there's not a challenge I haven't been able to solve so far. So
and I'm not trying to put, but the thing is I think when people there's another area that you do is staging for selling your home, and there's a lot of people that have stuck now with a home that they're trying to sell, and literally your stories that you've told me of clients that
Right.
by the proper staging.
Right. Well, truthfully, the problem with selling homes, most people have twice as much as they need in them. And that's a feng shui thing too. The less clutter you have, the less you have to think and worry about and have the burden of thinking, oh, I've got to deal with that. So it's really a win-win when people minimize their possessions while they're selling their house. You can't think of it as the house you're living in. You have to think of it as a marketing tool.
I remember looking at a house, and it was somebody that had lived there 20 years, and they opened up the closets, they were packed, everything was packed, and all I could think of is how are they ever, I can't really see the house.
Well,
Yeah,
or you're thinking it wouldn't be enough room for you.
Yes. So now, and that's another thing, you say enhanced by feng shui, because that plays a part in what you're doing, and maybe I'm deviating off some of the things that I was going to ask you, but I want to
surprise me. That's okay.
Yeah, but I want to make sure that people that because you hear about it and you go, oh, isn't that nice? But really, there is an energy to it. And tell us a little bit how you got into that and what you've seen, how you've seen it help people take that in consideration.
Well, I was curious about feng shui, and I took some courses, and then I had the opportunity to be in one of the first groups of Canadian and American designers to study in Nanjing, China. And there it's taught in the architectural department, and they spend 25% of their budget siting the building on the land and following the concepts of feng shui. And now it is so common. I mean, the Swiss Stock Exchange, Donald Trump, all his places are feng shui.
It's how your accessories are placed.
It has to do with color. It has to do with elements. You want to have a balance of metal, wood, earth, fire, and water.
Now, does it work with green? Is it kind of? I see it kind of working with green.
Everything overlaps in the design world.